Hello and welcome to the ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and tech wizard Abigail Mowat.
Abigail Sleepy.
Sorry, I'll start again. Hello and welcome to the ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and your tech wizard Abigail Sleepy.
Mr. Sleepy. I didn't sleep. Sorry, guys. I'm really
wizard
tired. I
still
didn't
sleepy.
sleep. I didn't sleep last night.
I didn't either, actually. Yeah.
I think I went to bed about 11, but then I must have slept a little bit, but I must have. You know when you wake up and you feel like you've not slept? Because I remember being stock awake at 11 o'clock, and then I remember looking over at my alarm clock, and it's then said like 3 a.m. I was like, I've not slept, but time has passed too quickly for me not to have slept.
Right, okay.
And then I didn't sleep again.
She's insane.
And on that note, I have not played anything this week because I have been manic. Many different versions of that.
That's a new name as well. Now we've got to call you Bin Manic.
Wait, what?
That was a joke. It doesn't work because you said I have been manic. So it's more like a kidnapping joke, but I didn't really want to accuse you of... Fine, you've kidnapped a guy called Bin Maddock. Can you let him go now, please?
That was a terrible joke.
I know. I'm actually quite tired myself for some reason. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it's just speaking to you has caused me to become extremely bored.
I'll just leave then, will I? I'm just going to leave. You horrible, horrible man. Sorry I can't be butterflies and sunshine 24/7 for you.
No, I don't care if you're miserable the rest of the time. Just be butterflies and sunshine when I'm talking to you.
I try and be, but then the process of actually talking to you eradicates all sunshine and butterflies for me. So you depress me, and in turn I depress you.
In fairness, that was what I was going for. That's the look I was going for.
I'm going to stop talking to you.
It's like a sunshine and rainbows cancellation gaze. Every time anybody sees me, they just go, ugh. You could just have won the lottery and you just turn your face as soon as you see me.
True. Yes, I do.
That's why I affect this drone.
I hate you. I just hate you. There's no point to you. There's no point to me either. We're all by chance.
That depends on your outlook.
So what have you been playing? You're
What's up, red
laughing.
guy?
That wasn't being picked up on my end. The laughing.
Oh, I was laughing, but it's fine. It gets picked. We use mine primarily, so
yeah,
it's fine. But it just sounded like, "Hey, white guy."
Do you remember the video of the turtle?
Oh no. Oh. Do you remember what that turtle was doing?
Yes.
Oh,
That's
right.
why I mentioned it.
What did I do? What did I play? Oh, yes.
Did you play?
We'll start. I've played quite a few things, just a little bit here and there. Funnily enough, I played Football Manager 2012. I played some Mount and Blade Warband. I think I'm finished with that now. I think I'm finished with Mount and Blade Warband because it's coming off of Game Pass.
Yeah. How long's it been on Game Pass for?
No idea. Because it's coming off of Game Pass, I won't be able to... I just don't think I'm going to have time to finish it without rushing it, and I'd rather do something else. You know? I'm going to miss playing it, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that I'm going to win. So, because I already own half the map.
So it's not even worthwhile anymore because you've basically won by default.
I would finish it, but if they're going to make me rush it, and I'm probably not going to have enough time to finish it, and I would rush it and still not achieve the goal, I'm not going to bother. I'll just happily take the win I've got and move on. Yeah, that's basically what that is. It's a shame, but these things happen.
It is. If it was meant to be, it was meant to be.
Yes.
And
But
all them other sayings.
I have to say that one thing I really like about the game, is the fact that when you are starting, you are rubbish.
You are also rubbish.
Your character is really bad at everything.
Yeah.
Especially ranged attacks, and then when you which are like half the abilities, or weapon types. But like when you bring up your crossbow, or your bow and arrow, or your javelin, and to throw it, and the crosshairs appear. The crosshairs are enormous, and they close in as you hold the shot, as if you're aiming. But if you're not very good at it, they don't close in very far.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like if you put this barn door over the top of what you're trying to hit, there's a chance you'll hit it.
Yeah.
But when you get past a certain point, because the skill numbers go all the way up to 420, I think, and I've got things at 350, like my archery. If you give it enough time to close that arrow in, the crosshairs in, it will actually close the crosshairs to a singular point.
Yeah.
And you can hold that for a while. Now, after a while, it eventually starts to open back up again.
Mm-hmm.
But that time increases that you can hold it perfectly. The higher the skill is.
Yeah.
And once it's closed in like that, you can just start beaning them in the head.
Okay.
So it got to a point where I would do like a siege battle, and I'd be shooting like 50 or 60 of them in the face.
Pew pew.
Yeah.
Pew, 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 pew.
And building armies of mostly archers, just for the purpose of taking on these sieges and just absolutely braining everybody that was in the defense. It was really, I'd really narrowed down how I enjoyed playing the game. I had my techniques. I had my stratagems.
You had your special skills.
And considering the 4 nations I was up against that were left, I'd wiped out the Swadians, and I'd wiped out the Canet, I'd wiped out the Vagers, so there's only 3 left, which were the Nords, who were massively weakened after the first war with me, because I helped build up their empire to about half the map and then took half of it away. The Saranids, who had used the power vacuum to build up to a huge size, but I had just started eating into them. I'd wiped out the Karganet by myself. I'd wiped out the Vagers and the Swadians with the Nords, and the Rhodoks were like a couple of cities at best. So it was going to be easy. I was at war with the Saranids, so I would have if I'd taken out all of their cities, it would have been about 3 cities to the Nords, 2 to the Rhodoks, and everything else to me. They wouldn't have stood a chance. So, yeah, I had my ways of playing, my stratagems, and I was dominant. But I just think I wouldn't necessarily enjoy the rush to a finish line. But it was there for over a year, that game. I just had no interest in playing it until I saw somebody play the sequel, and I suddenly thought, oh, hold on. And I gave it a go, and I really enjoyed it. But I've enjoyed what I've done. I'm not going to sully it with this mad dash.
Good, but that means at least you savoured it like a fine wine instead of shot it. Instead of lining up the shots on the bar.
Mm-hmm. I understand now. Or I savoured it like a sip whiskey as opposed to a shot whiskey.
Is there such thing as a shot whiskey? I thought you were supposed to sip whiskey.
No, if it's like American, because it's just no. Why would you can't savour that? It's just toilet water. No, you've got to shot that. Whereas Japanese or Scottish, yeah, you can sip that. because they're the best.
I will keep that in mind, even though I don't drink whiskey.
I'm trying to remember. I played a lot of Football Manager recently. I haven't played any more Halo 2 yet. I played a lot of Football Manager. Really been getting into that.
Because it's like another. It's almost like another strategy games, isn't it?
Yes.
For you.
The best parts in that game are the scouting and the sort of player acquisition, like making a bid on a player, getting it rebuffed, making another one, then you get through, and then they say, right, we'll accept this, and then you make a contract offer to the player, and you negotiate, and then that's the best part. The actual games, the actual matches are not as good. They're not as much fun. I don't really know why.
Yeah.
I just think the acquisition of the players, building the team you're trying to build, that's more important than the actual matches, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the modern games are rubbish, because they sort of partially take that away. It's nowhere near as good. The scouting system doesn't work properly, or the whole negotiation thing isn't as good. It's just not as good. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's just nowhere near as good. In the key components of the game.
Cool.
Well,
or is it?
Sorry, how could it be cool for the new ones to be not as good?
Because it gives a sense of nostalgia for the old ones.
Which I have and now play. I'm playing Football Manager 2012, which is the best one.
Yes.
The only ones that we owned were, I think, for the computer were 2009 and 2012, and we played those to heck and back. So I've managed to get myself a copy of 2012, but that's it.
Would you recommend other people play it?
Oh, definitely, but you'd have to find a second-hand copy that was not like locked down, because if they're Steam based, then the code is attached to a certain profile, so you wouldn't be able to use that, or you need to find a CD key. So they're quite expensive because it's quite rare now.
Oh, right.
Because
okay.
I think it's to do with selling the new ones. They don't sell the old ones digitally because it's a yearly release, so they don't sell the older ones.
To make people buy the new ones.
Yeah, so which I think is stupid. Just sell all of them, and people would buy them, because I did. I just had to find a way around. But yeah, if they're not as good, they're not as good. Stop making substandard games and almost try to finagle the system so people buy it. Just make a good one.
I heartily agree with that sentiment. Sentiment, yes. Sediment's the rock.
Yes.
Sentiment is the feeling.
Roughly, yeah.
What, am I still saying it wrong?
I'm not sure if those descriptions are entirely accurate, but yeah.
Sediment is sediment rock. Sentiment is like a feeling.
Sentiment could be emotional meaning as well.
That's what I said. It's an emotion.
No, emotional meaning as well, not just an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter.
It does matter. It does matter. It does.
Sentimentalities for the week.
Sentimentality is the sadness of life.
I played some Yakuza.
What's that?
Yakuza Zero. So based on the Yakuza in Japan.
Yes.
Kiryu. I'm sure I've mentioned it before.
Quite possibly, but my brain is mush.
But it's just sort of like just wrapping off the end of chapter 1, or starting the beginning of chapter 2. I think it was the beginning of chapter 2. Just a few more introductory things. And then I got a bit more of a free roam aspect, and when I was running around having some fights, and I played some baseball, which I didn't read the instructions for, so it didn't work very well. And I played some pool, which I did read the instructions for, so I played that very well.
Was that better?
Yes. I also had a drink of a very expensive Scottish whiskey, because obviously the Japanese actually really like Scottish whiskey. It's one of the big export markets.
Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And there was also so I stopped playing it.
Why?
When I got to a point where a teenage boy asked me to follow his teenage girlfriend around. So it's set in the mid 80s, I think, or the late 80s. I think it might be 88, something like that.
Yeah.
Because she suddenly had an awful lot of money and was buying an awful lot of undergarments.
Ooh.
So he was worried that she was
Being unfaithful.
for financial gain.
Right, okay. I get your meaning.
Now, I think I might have actually heard of this quest before, and I don't think that that's what's happening. I think it's something actually a little bit funnier. But I just, you got to remember as well that Japanese age of consent is different, or at least I think it was back in the 80s. But it was just interesting. He's like, this guy's supposed to be like a hard as nuts Yakuza guy, right?
Yeah.
But if anybody comes up to him and just says, "Please, could you help me? My cat is stuck in a tree," he's like, "Okay, I will help you." And then he just goes and like rips the tree out the ground and shakes the cat out of it and hands it over, and then puts the tree back in the ground, and then goes walking off down the street again. It's nuts, the kind of weird
Sounds
stuff
bizarre.
he's asked. It really is. Like the main story seems to be very sort of intrigue based. There's been a murder, and they don't really, oh, who did it? Why did they do it? What's going on here? And you got to work it out, right?
Yeah.
That seems to be what's happening. Whereas the side quests are basically just and everybody's gone absolutely nuts. "Somebody stole my feet, help me, as the person's running around in like a giant nappy with the head of a chicken. You're like, what are you doing?
Sounds absolutely bizarre.
Well, I don't. That was a sort of exaggeration because I don't want to give anything away. I don't think there's anybody claiming to have had their legs stolen while wearing the head of a chicken, but it's that sort of thing.
Well, now it's ruined because that doesn't happen.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure there's a mission where you you meet a bunch of CEOs dressed up as babies.
See, I could believe that would happen.
I don't know if
anywhere.
it's Zero or I think it's Zero. I think it's Zero that has that. Yeah.
That is bizarre.
Yeah. Well, it's a thing in Japan.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a thing in America now as well.
Yeah,
High-powered
I think-
men like to pretend to be babies.
Yeah. I think that is a kink.
No, I don't think it's... No, I don't think it's that sort of thing.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think it's something they enjoy in a different manner.
Like just being able to relinquish responsibility, if you
Yeah, and bowel control.
will. Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's...
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. You know that.
Just being chased around by a giant baby man as he defecates into some underpants.
See if I actually have a nightmare about that halfway through the night. I will be messaging you going, yeah.
Mm.
You just get like just a really annoying text message all in capitals. That's what's happened.
You're Wexlam. The last thing I played was I booted up, because it was free to play this weekend, Battlefield 2042.
Is that the most recent one?
Yes, that's the one that we had a look at that video and bullets were passing through people.
Vaguely, I remember. Yes. Halfway through that sentence, it kind of started to come back to me.
So I installed it, I got in, and it started off the sort of intro tutorial where you have what is essentially an online match, but you're against AI, and it explains how everything works. The class system is utterly pointless. I don't understand it. I don't really understand the purpose of what's happening when it comes to the class system. You don't seem to be able to pick any of your own weapons at all or anything like that. I don't see the point. Like there's 4 main characters that were supposed to function as different classes, but they all had the same guns. So it was all to do with the other utility items, and I'm sorry, but there's no way that all 4 of these classes are going to use the same gun. It doesn't make any sense. The tank is I got in a tank at one point, and it's a little bit difficult to actually use the turret. It's just a bit strange. I don't really know why. I didn't like it. It was basically, the match setup was basically just conquer this area. So, there's, I think it's 200 men on each side, and you've basically just got to fight every time you kill an enemy, a number ticks down from 200 on them.
Yeah.
If you have more of the sectors than they do, then it starts to tick down as well, faster and faster the more you have. So if you have 2 to their 1, it ticks down. If you have all 3, it ticks down much faster. What really got to me was how bad it was.
Oh.
Because I swear that the guns might be realistic, but they honestly shoot like, I mean, I can't remember what movie it was, but I remember a movie in which a woman picks up a machine gun, starts shooting at somebody, and she bounces backwards into a lift shaft because she can't control the recoil. I can't remember what film it was now.
It's not the one of James McAvoy, is it? Like where they can bend bullets.
No. It's supposed to be like I think it might be like a James Bond or something like that. When she picks up the gun and pulls the trigger, and she gets bounced back into a lift shaft, or she gets bounced over a railing into the sea or something like that. She gets bounced around. I think it might be Diamonds Are Forever.
I honestly can't remember. I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
But it's sort of like that. It's sort of like you pull the trigger and it's like, oh my god, I'm firing everywhere at once. And I just feel like that's just that even on single fire, it was hard to actually keep any amount of control. It just felt really erratic, and that might be realistic, but
not fun.
It made it nearly impossible to actually hit anything on a medium distance. And there's a health bar that pops up above the enemy. You've got to hit the enemy 5 or 6 times, which is not realistic. So why are you making me shoot? So that doesn't add up. But other than that, I swear to God, there were moments where bullets were passing straight through. Like I was having to hit 10 or 12 times to kill something that needed only 4 or 5 hits to die.
Yeah, I know that would drive you absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I swear I was hitting a lot more than it tells you, because it tells you when you hit because their health bar drops.
Yeah.
And it was definitely happening from time to time. Also with the map design, I just feel that you're left totally exposed just to getting picked off by anything and everything. And that's not great when you can just be sort of like wiped out across the map, just poof, do, poof, do, poof, do. It's not good map design. And I think that, okay, so what they did was they did set up something along the lines of a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
To do with, climate change and resources being lost, and like a billion people become what's called non-pats, where they don't have
expats.
Non-pats, where they don't have a country because they've all become refugees.
Okay.
And like my guy was my character, whichever one I picked, which is why it doesn't really make any sense, because I wasn't picking a class, I was picking a character, but we were still all in the same boat of being these non-pats.
Yeah.
They were fighting with the US as a sort of like we're worthwhile, bam 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 bam, like take us in sort of thing. I did go to a couple of the different characters who are from different countries, and I know it might be realistic, but sometimes it's nearly impossible to understand what they're saying.
Yeah. Because
the Japanese one is not speaking fluent English. It's Japanese pronounced English. It's not quite as comic or as this, but it's almost like she said, "Oh no, I can shoot at the enemy." It's just like I don't really understand entirely what you're saying, but I think I know what you mean. But that doesn't really make any sense, because if I'm the character that's shouting in that, surely I would know.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't understand your own character's accent, that doesn't make any sense, because that's the accent you think in.
Okay.
It's like if you didn't understand your own voice, that would be insane, because you think in that voice.
Thought of that.
So how am I not understanding my own character? This doesn't make any sense.
I know, that's weird. I've just never thought of that.
Yeah. It would be... I don't know how to put it. It'd be like if you played Assassin's Creed 2, right? And instead of coming out with this sort of, that sort of... I am Ezio Auditore Differenze. You're like, oh, there's a slight Italian twang in there. I see what you're saying. Hey, Mario, what are we doing? It's a slight Italian twang. I get it. I understand. But if you just came out and was like, what are you talking about? Why do I not understand who is technically me. Most games do a little bit of dumbing down of accents to make sure people can understand.
Right.
Whereas this game doesn't, and leaves me in a position where I say, I don't really understand what that Japanese woman just said. Am I now a racist? I don't understand. And I just, it's a silly decision. It's just silly. That's all it is. Because it wasn't even broken English. It was just really weirdly accented English.
Strange. That is a weird thing to do.
Yeah. But the other aspect of it was that I played through this prologue, right? And they were like, yeah, excellent. You can now play the game. Poof, in I go. The options in the game were the different types of multiplayer match that they have, which seems to be either only 3 or split into 3 groups. I don't know, because as soon as I looked at it and then I looked it up online, and there's genuinely no campaign at all.
Yeah.
I uninstalled it. If you're not going to make the effort of putting in a campaign, I'm not playing your game.
No.
I'm not doing that.
No, there's no point. You need a campaign.
Like, that's a full price game with no campaign.
That's
I'm sorry,
an insult.
but like, Halo handed out its multiplayer for free. You buy the campaign.
Yeah.
And you're handing out. You're like, oh, we've done away with the campaign because we know everybody's just interested in the multiplayer. Oh well, I'll not play then, because I'm not. And considering there's been some pretty great Battlefield campaigns in the past, that's a real slap in the face. And it's just because they've been making them so badly the past few attempts, they've stopped bothering. But that's a real slap in the face.
I think it is. Yeah.
The real difficulty I have is when they try to smash in a story anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, that's just, why are you doing this? Like, the story can't ever actually go anywhere if you've just smashed it into a multiplayer match only setting.
Yeah.
So they apparently they say it doesn't have a campaign, but it does have a story, and that story unfolds in the multiplayer settings depends on what happens to you. Like, no, it doesn't. I can't lose the war, because if that's the case, I would be banned from playing. Sorry, your character's dead. You're not allowed to turn up anymore. Of course it's not. That doesn't make any sense. Also, technically speaking, with the reinforcement counter, that means that every single person that gets killed is a different character.
Yeah.
So my characters have died. Like, they're already, the person I started the story with died in the first match, along with the next 20 people I was. I am an army controlled by one Megamind. I'm not a character. What? They did something stupid like this. Sorry, with Brink. That didn't work. They tried it with Titanfall 1. That didn't work because they made Titanfall 2 and put in a campaign, and it was a superior game. Don't understand why people keep doing what they did it with Black Ops 4. They only put in they backtracked on that. They then made a Warzone for online only, and they've now got games which have campaigns again. That's Call of Duty.
True.
It's just, I don't understand why no, I think it's just been a case of, we can't be bothered, take it out. And the same with Black Ops. They took out the campaign because they couldn't be bothered to finish it properly. And so what they then did was shifted those characters across to the zombies mode, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's just make a game. And if you need to say to people, hold on lads, we need to slow this down a bit. We're not going to be able to release this year, or we're not going to be able to release one at this point in time. Fine, whatever, it happens. Like, this is the thing. Battlefield 2042 came out, and it's just rubbish. There's nothing good about it at all. At least when something like Cyberpunk 2077 comes out and it's bad, it's because they attempted something amazing and just missed it. Whereas this is nothing. They've attempted nothing, and they've still missed it. It's like attempting to fall over in the garden and rocketing into the sky by accident.
I know, it's like with Cyberpunk, when they screwed up, they at least apologized and offered like refunds and things like that to people.
Yeah, there's no complaint now from anybody who owns Cyberpunk, because you were all given the chance to trade it back in for the monies.
Yeah.
You know, there's not really anything you can do about that. And hopefully CD Projekt Red learned from their lesson, because they're making a Witcher 4 if memory serves. They need to listen to their team, and when their team says we need more time, give it to them. It's the same lesson that Halo seemed to have learned from when they released the Master Chief Collection. They were told, look, we don't know if we can fix this in 3 months. And they were told, no, we're going to release it and you're going to patch it between now and then. And they couldn't patch it in time, so it came out a mess.
Yeah.
Now, they've kept working on it and it's now good. It now runs properly. And that's fine. That will keep working. But that game could have been so much more if they hadn't screwed it up, shall we say. But if they get to the point where they end up porting that across to the Series X and then adding Halo 5, that's another opportunity for them to do it well.
Hopefully they do it well then.
I think that will just become a platform to catch all the Halo games that are not made for the console that is currently out, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. So is there anything else you wish to discuss, or shall
No.
we end it there?
That's everything. Battlefield 2042 is a joke. Don't play it.
So if you liked what Tommy talked about today, because I said virtually nothing, so sorry about that. Because I had nothing to say.
Well, to
So
be honest,
I've been a SWAT.
no, that's preferable. Not saying something when you have nothing to say is better than just saying something for the sake of saying it.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. You can always leave a comment down below. That'd be great. Hit the like button, subscribe button, share button, and hit the notification button for when we upload. You can email us at overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com. My brain stopped there.
Yes. I'm wondering, the share button, does that make her appear on screen, or...
It won't make me appear on screen.
No, share.
I thought you said make her appear on screen.
No,
so
will it make share appear on screen? The share button, will it make her appear on screen?
Two different spellings.
I mean, it's not the best response to my joke, but alright.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you guys come back next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.